Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. How we doing? Here, another episode of the Robbie Basel Show, ready to go, back at it again. And I know it's been a week again. It's been a very weird week. I got a little bit of a cold, still have a little bit of a cold. I sounded terrible. I couldn't really speak very well on Monday or Tuesday, so we didn't do the video on Monday or Tuesday. So we have the video today. It's actually the last video I do before I go to college, which also next video should be next week, but on Tuesday. But honestly, I have no idea anymore. But after that week, because I move in on Monday, so after that week, we are going to go back to Monday, Friday. I am going to try my best to go back to Monday, Friday. It works best for my schedule. I can upload and edit on those days. It should all be good to run episodes Monday, Friday. For now, at least. For the next semester, so until the end of the year, pretty much. Which sounds crazy that I'm entering my my third semester doing this channel, which we just completed the second summer of the channel. A lot of great sports occurred, the Olympics and the Euros and Copa America. We had AFCON in January. Um, Speaking of those things as well, we will be doing international break previews. That will be sprinkled in with the NFL season preview, which is going to be, I believe, end of next week, or beginning of the following week. I actually have no idea when that video is going to be out yet. Um, but I'm gonna go back to a couple of changes with the channel real quick, just to touch on this. I'm gonna be changing. We're gonna be testing some stuff in the first video of next week. So there might be a new microphone. So instead of this, there'll be like what is it? A wireless mic that's gonna go like it's a lav mic, so it'll go like right here on my shirt, so I can use my hands more. Just to feel like it's more conversational. It's just not me talking through a screen, even though that's what I'm doing right now. Um, but I also might be using a different way to record this. I've been using Riverside for the last year plus. You might be going to OBS just to test it out, see how all that works. Just to get me like used to OBS, since I'm going to be probably using that for a lot of other things. And we might be doing some edited videos. I'm hoping to try and start editing videos very soon. I don't have an exact start date for that yet, but hopefully in September I'm editing some videos. Not every video, but like not every part of the video will be like seen with edits and all that. I'm talking like some highlights from the main Premier League games, some NFL highlights sprinkled in. Hopefully I don't get demonetized, because honestly, that would be very fitting if I got demonetized, but honestly, no idea what's going to happen. All I know is that I'm not using like the actual live video and reacting to said live video. You might hear a little bit of different audio when that happens. No idea. It should be very, very interesting. Um, but yeah, that's just a couple of things that could happen. I know the mic and the OBS should be tested next week. I know the mic will. OBS, it might be in the next video. It could be the video afterwards. No idea. Um, yeah, there's just a couple updates with the channel. Well, I will be trying to do my best to go back to 2 uploads a week. In the beginning of the week and at the end of the week, just so you guys are more attached to the start of the Premier League, the end of Major League Baseball. That's a topic for next week. U.S. Open starts on Monday. We'll talk about that today. And Formula One is back. We get to watch the race in Zandvoort on Sunday. So it's all kicking up again at the perfect time, right before I go back to college. But let's just get straight into the Premier League, which kicked off last week. And shout out to Dylan Shalom for being a part of the video last week. That video took almost 2 hours to record. It took an eternity. And we were then treated to, eventually, with the opening game of the season, which was Manchester United and Fulham. I'll just briefly go through this one. Joshua Xerxes, the hero, 87th minute winner. Garnacho had the assist. I'm going to be honest here, no one looked that good. Fulham's attack is still incompetent, but what else do you expect? It's Fulham. Also, sorry. There we go. I fixed the thing on my screen. Nothing really happened. United had a couple of chances. Fulham had like one maybe, but Fulham are actually linked to selling Anthony Robinson to Man United, which for some reasons on, maybe before the deadline, because that makes sense. But Manchester United were eventually able to take care of Fulham. They won 1-0, 3 points on the board. Saturday's scores, we were kicked it off with a very interesting fixture. Ipswich played Liverpool. I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch this live because I was not waking up at 7:30 with Arsenal playing that day. So here is the deal. Ipswich played Liverpool. It was a 0-0 first half. Ipswich may have looked more competent than we thought, but then again, we said that about Sheffield. No, not Sheffield. Didn't we say that about someone last year? I have no idea. Because I remember last year Luton sucked in the beginning of the year, and we thought they were the worst team of all time, and they almost stayed up. But Ipswich, they weren't that bad. They weren't that great, but then again, they were playing Liverpool. Liverpool eventually put up 2 because that's just what they do, and they went out and got 3 points. Arsenal played a very weird and perplexing matchup against Wolves. Goal was scored early by Kai Havertz. It was a good ball into the box, headed it home 1-0. But Wolves got a lot of good chances, and we're going to take a look at this. Is the match of one of the sessions that we're going to look at today. Also, this is why I wish I could do highlights, because we would have gone over a red card, but we can't because we get demonetized and the video would be taken down. Kai Havertz got an aerial ball, good ball in the box. Yeah, by the way, Saka was man of the match. I want to look at the lineups because I'm forgetting about one of the players that was in this. We're going to go all the way down here for a minute because too far. Because right after the Havertz goal, what was his name? Not Bellegarde. Who am I thinking of? Oh, Jorgen Strand Larsen. Yeah, he's pretty good. He had a big chance in the early stages right after the Havertz goal. That was with a brilliant save by David Raya. That kept it from being 1-1. Nothing else really occurred. Arsenal was incompetent in the final third. Because we're Arsenal, we don't do anything. But then Bukayo Saka slices and dices the defense, and right when I was watching the game, I told him to pass the ball. He shoots it with the left foot and scores a banger. Arsenal win 2-0, and they did not look convincing doing it. Even though Wolves in the final third were completely horrendous. Brighton played Everton and destroyed Everton. I think that's just the best way they can put it. Brighton took care of business, went out at Goodison Park. Kairi Matoma, Adringa, Danny Welbeck scored. Danny Welbeck continues to own Everton, and Brighton are top of the league by 1 goal over Arsenal and Liverpool. Newcastle played Southampton. This is what I was wanting to talk about because we had a red card that shouldn't have been a red card on Fabian Schär. Very controversial. Unfortunately for Southampton, the football gods were not happy by this officiating, and a terrible mistake in the back leads to a Newcastle goal. Newcastle win 1-0 because that's just how this match went. The game sucked. Newcastle won. That's that. Nottingham Forest then played Bournemouth. Gonna be honest with you here. This game was actually way better than I thought it was gonna be because this game screamed 0-0. We did have an unfortunate incident. Danilo got subbed off. He had a terrible injury. Hopefully he's doing better. Chris Wood, though, opened the scoring 23rd minute, and then nothing happened until the 86th minute with Antoine Semenyo scoring the equalizer for Bournemouth for a point. Fair enough, Bournemouth, get a point. At Nottingham, sure. Aston Villa played West Ham. This game was another one, back and forth, great energy at the London Stadium. We opened it up with Amadou Onana scoring his debut goal for Aston Villa. Lucas Paqueta converted a penalty after it was like kind of soft, but we didn't even know what it was. Tony Harrington did call the penalty. Paqueta scores 1-1, and then Joan Duran, I forgot who he replaced. But he's the replacement for that striker who left like $65 million to Saudi, who I'm forgetting of right now. He scores the winner, 79th minute, for 3 points for Villa. On Sunday, we had Brentford play the most boring game ever. If this was last year, Brian Mbeumo, who I talked about in the previous video, he scored Ethan Pinnock, because he does things, scored a goal for the wrong team. Crystal Palace's attack looked really incompetent, which is concerning because me and Dylan really like Crystal Palace's attack, and they didn't score against Brentford, which, how? Yohan Wissa scored the winner, by the way. 76th minute winner for Wissa. This also was hilarious. Man City played Chelsea. Chelsea, or what I want to call them, the 45-man FC played 115 charges FC. Erling Haaland scored an early goal. Chelsea were crying like babies. Mateo Kovacic scorns Chelsea again. Man City win 2-0. Haaland, by the way, was man of the match. Anthony Taylor got a lot of crap after this, which was kind of funny. But Chelsea, who are now rumored to sell Ben Chilwell and Sterling, they're a mess. They're a mess. And then we had this one. Jamie Vardy's return against Tottenham led to a 1-1 draw at the King Power. Pedro Porro, which is not who I had scoring in this. I would never think of him as a goal scorer. He gets a goal assisted by James Maddison. Then I thought nothing was going to happen. But then Leicester say not so fast because Jamie Vardy's inevitable. He may be like 37, but he scores in minute number 57 as he scores the equalizer, and Leicester, in their return, get a point. Fair enough, lads. Here's the table after week 1. A lot of this will probably change. Brighton play United tomorrow, which, okay. They're the early game tomorrow, so I don't think a lot of people will watch that. Arsenal, after not looking convincing for over half the game, went out and won after their win. Play Aston Villa next at 12:30 tomorrow. Brentford, who beat Palace despite Palace not doing anything, they play Liverpool, which should be oh so intriguing. Man City, because their schedule is going to be a cakewalk from here probably, play Ipswich next, which have fun. If this game doesn't end 4-0, I'm going to be really disappointed. Bournemouth Newcastle, I'm actually a big fan of. Bournemouth on Sunday morning. That an away day for Newcastle. If you remember from the last video, I talked about Newcastle's struggles on the road, and playing at Bournemouth is not going to be easy at the Vitality, so it should be very interesting. Leicester play Fulham in the most boring game of the weekend, probably. The West Ham Crystal Palace could be a close second. Southampton plays Nottingham. That's also going to be really bad. The Saturday afternoon games suck, I'll be honest. And Chelsea play Wolves. Have fun. And here's, by the way, a better visual on when the games are for this week. Hopefully this will load. There we go. 7:30. Here's all your 10 o'clock games. There's another 10 o'clock game because I don't think there's a Monday game. Also, only one game on non-Peacock because all the games suck. I also shout out to Brentford being on Liverpool being on Telemundo, so I have to watch it in Espanol if you want to watch that game. And then following that, we will be doing maybe a deadline day video, a deadline day stream during the deadline. That is possible. I was thinking about it because it's on Saturday, so that is a possibility for next week. Would you guys want that, actually? I think it's a good question for you guys. Would you want me to do a deadline day stream? Just like we go over like all the Premier League moves and whatever. Because a lot happened, and we'll talk about that next. A couple of big transfers happened very recently, over the past week, and let's talk about it. So let's go to Fabrizio, because he had a couple of ones that I was really perplexed on. Also, shout out to Brighton for signing Ferdi Kadioglu from Fenerbahce, because that makes sense. 30 million, that's pretty good. The big one was Mikel Merino. He moved from Sociedad to Arsenal. I think this is a great move. It slots in the midfield where Partey was. Partey was okay, but not great in the opening match. I don't think Merino would play against Villa because I think that's pretty stupid. I want to see what Calafiori does though for Arsenal. I don't know when he's gonna feature, but I'm hoping it's soon. I think a lot of people want him to play soon. So that's just something to watch out for in the future. Another move that was interesting was Ilkay Gundogan returns to the Premier League on a free from Barcelona. Now let's break this move down because I think a lot of people were perplexed on why this happened in the first place. Barcelona, shambles. They have a lot of bad wages. And they can't register their main player, Danny Olmo, their big signing of the summer, the player who destroyed it in the Euros. Attacking midfielder, a position they didn't really need. They signed him. Now they can't register him because their club sucks in terms of money. They don't suck as a team. They just suck at doing money things. Words. I don't know. But Gundogan, his wage was terrible. So, just to get themselves out of the wage, they let him go for free. Man City says, welcome back, sir, and they will take him on a free, and he will sign for a year with an option for a future season. Sure. Another big move was with Manchester United, who continue to try to add players. The big one for them now is Manuel Ugarte from Paris Saint-Germain, the midfielder. I like this move. It would be a loan probably because of FFP and just money they have in general. But this is pretty good. I'm actually surprised on United's approach to this. I mean, granted, they might let Sancho leave, which would be pretty smart, but they're doing a lot of things right, which I'm very happy about. I mean, Premier League clubs doing things right. At least one Manchester club kind of gets the assignment. I'm not mentioning names. Man City. Sorry about that. The cold still lingers. Just like Chelsea lingers to sign more players. I hope that connected well, but I don't know. Because João Felix is back in the Premier League for Chelsea. He featured in their Conference League qualifier yesterday in the 2-0 win. João Felix is back because that was just how this works. He goes from Atletico to Chelsea. He was already loaned there like 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago now since that happened. Wow, it's been a minute, I think, since he's been here. But Conor Gallagher officially is now part of Atletico Madrid because João Felix left. Finally, in terms of transfers, a couple other things did happen because we talked about Ugarte, we talked about Marino. João Cancelo is another one. He might be going to Al Hilal, to the Saudi League. Not a lot of other big Premier League transfers, which you do Premier League. But the big other thing I wanted to talk about before we ditch soccer for the day is the retirement from the international game from some big players. And this could result in the fall of the German national team. Now, what do I mean? Because, the fall of the German national team. Robbie has to be speaking of some philosophical nonsense in order for that to happen. Well, you're not wrong. But you're also not entirely sure what I mean. Because let's just go through some of the names that retired recently from this national team. We started with Thomas Muller and Toni Kroos. We knew that was happening. That happened a couple of weeks ago. More like a month ago now, which is kind of absurd. But the recent ones, more importantly, Manuel Neuer, the best goalkeeper that the Germans have ever had, or arguably one of the best ones they've ever had, retired from the international game, which you hate to see it. I mean, Manuel Neuer, a pinnacle part of when they won the World Cup back in 2014. Big part of the national team for many years, at least a decade, for the Germans. Big force in that. He'll be at Bayern. Heck, I think he has a good chance of retiring at the end of this season because he has 1 year left on the deal, which I think is for this year. But the Germans go to an end of an era, but it's not entirely finished for the Germans. Also, Gundogan retired from the German national team. I don't think I mentioned that. But the weird thing now is they actually have a goalkeeper that's on the level of Manuel Neuer. So they're not entirely finished there. It's just the end of an era, and some positions will be empty, and we don't know how they're going to be replaced. The player that will be replacing Neuer on the German team is Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, who plays for Barcelona. I think a lot of people know who Ter Stegen is. He's very talented. He's very tall. He can do many things. Ter Stegen's a demigod. That was an interesting thing just to note. was the German team. But then this other thing came up, and I want to talk about this. I just remembered about this. And it had to do with Thibaut Courtois. Let me find this, because it was actually kind of pathetic. And it was something along the lines of, because I think I remember what this was about. Because he was talking about the Belgian national team. If you remember, the Belgian national team is not in the best position of all time. Wi-Fi's down. So hopefully this video actually finished. What I mean is, like, there's been a lot of talks. I'll speak on Belgium briefly. We might talk about this next week too. The Belgian national team has had a great golden generation. They've had a lot of good players. Talk about Romelu Lukaku up top, Kevin De Bruyne in midfield, and of course Thibaut Courtois in goal. They've had a bunch of other numerous talented players. Jeremy Doku on the wing. Same with Leandro Trossard, just to name a couple of other current players. But the big thing that's brought them down, other than the managerial situations, has been themselves. It's them. It's De Bruyne saying we're not winning. In I think, what was it, in the World Cup that happened? 2022 World Cup? I think Courtois retiring because the national team's in shambles. Listen, brother, you are like one of the last people who can like comment on this. Let me find the article. Hold on. Retired from national team. I want to read the comment because this is actually really... Oh, did he change? Oh, there we go. Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois declared on Thursday that he will no longer represent the Belgian national team under current coach Domenico Tedesco, who was like appointed like recently. Courtois, widely acclaimed as one of the top goalkeepers, was excluded from the European squad after a dispute with Tedesco. He was replaced with a guy, Castells. But this is where it gets funny. I feel privileged to have had the honor of wearing the national team jersey. Not even in my wildest dreams could I have imagined being able to do so more than 100 times, which begs you the question, how did he do it 100 times while being injured that much, which is thoroughly impressive from Courtois. Unfortunately, following the events with the coach and after much reflection, I've decided not to return to the Belgian national team under his management. I accept my share of responsibility. Shocking statement from him, actually. I'll explain why in a minute. However, looking forward, my lack of confidence in him would not contribute to maintaining a necessary atmosphere of cordiality. I apologize. So, Courtois has been in controversy before. This one's more interesting. Now, what did I mean by I was shocked by the lines of, in this matter, I accept my share of responsibility. It's been a trend in the past where sometimes pro athletes don't accept responsibility for anything. And I will give it to Courtois. He said that line right, and I believe in him. I believe he does have some responsibility with this, and I'm glad he addressed that he did. Lack of confidence in a manager to not play in a national team is kind of lame. But I don't know. That he disappointed the fans. I am convinced that this is the best course of action for Belgium. No, it's not. It's you playing for this team. Tedesco's tactics raised questions about whether he was the right man for the job after Belgium was eliminated by France in the Euros. Remember, France scored like one goal from open play the whole tournament. The Italian board manager began his tenure in February 2023 after they sacked Roberto Martinez and signed a contract extension before the Euros because they were really good in World Cup qualifying. However, the team that spent nearly 3 years at the top of the world rankings, which still doesn't make any sense, has endured some mediocre results under Tedesco, which is also very true. So I kind of get where Courtois is coming from. It's just kind of random. So I don't understand, listen, I have a lot of respect for Courtois, personally. He's done a lot of great things in the game. But I don't know if doing this the way he did it was the right move. But we'll see. Well, it's a wait and see thing now for Belgium. Um, Hopefully they don't have troubles in goal because that would be a great problem to have. The next topic, we return to Formula One this week, and we will have the return of the Netherlands. Speaking of Euros teams, the Netherlands returns, and let's talk about FP1 and FP2 from today. A lot happened. FP1, which is in the rain. We did have some rainy sessions. Shout out to Charles Leclerc, 13th. Here was your order from FP1. We're not really going to go into it very much. Shout out to both Hasses being the top 10 because that makes sense. And Albon 6th, sure. Perez 12th because that's just where he's probably going to finish in the driver's standings. And also shout out to Robert Schwartzman, who sat in for Kick Salber today. I think that was for Bottas. Yeah, So that might. We already knew Valtteri's time there was probably done, but how did FP2 go? Max didn't get first again because that just works. If you look at the bottom, Nico Hulkenberg, who was like 9th in the first session, goes 20th in the second. Also, Carlos Sainz 19th. What are we doing? This race is gonna be very interesting. It's a track that I'm gonna be personal. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't like this track very much. But what we do know is that the McLarens and the Mercedes are typically really good here. Same with Max. So this top 5, I think, is just going to be reordered for the race. If I had to pick pole 1, pole 2, 3, I would say, who is up on top of FP1? Norris, Verstappen, Hamilton. I'm going to say pole Piastri. Yes, pole Piastri. Second, Hamilton. Third, Verstappen. Then Norris and Russell. Max wins in his home country. Then both McLarens, I think, would finish second and third. That's just my prediction. My shocking prediction of the week, which we'll just reintroduce this. I don't even know. Albon points on the cards, maybe. Alpines both crash. Who knows? Because there's so much that's happened. Just for reference, it's been a month since we've gotten to watch one of these things, you know. It's been a freaking month. Where is this month gone? Like, I'm serious here, chat. Because if you think about it, let me close the screen. We were last in Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps. And now we're already heading to Zandvoort. Dude, I also realized, I'm just rambling at this point, but I just want to bring a realization thing to everyone who watches the Formula One. We are heading to the final stretch of Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes. Just comprehend this real quick. We have 10 races left, I believe, in this season. We'll pull up the standings just so you guys remember the standings in a minute. And this season's been absolutely chaotic. We've had a million race winners. This season's been glorious. It's like it feels like the Premier League, honestly, with everyone beating everyone. And I love it. I mean, who doesn't love it? Other than Red Bull, obviously. We'll talk about them in a second, too. But this will be the final 10 races we can get of Lewis and Bono. Remember, Bono's is Lewis's race engineer. He actually is getting promoted to head of engineering at Mercedes, which fair play to him. He's a great guy to be around, apparently. But that duo will end inevitably at the end of the season in a couple of months. We still got a couple of months. But just to remind you how many races there are, here are the remaining races. We end on December 8th, which sounds absurd, and we have 10 races left, including this one. Following this race, we go to Monza, which is my favorite race of the year. I love Monza. That's been my favorite track forever, other than Brazil. Then we go to Azerbaijan. Baku, very weird track. I'm not a fan of it personally. Here's another track I'm not a fan of. Singapore follows it. Then we go into the October stretch of the Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. Then we go to Mexico, another track I'm not a fan of, even though it's actually pretty cool. Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. December 8th will be the final time we hear Lewis and Bono together. So mark it on your calendars. We might stream it, honestly, because why the hell not? When's the race? I actually don't know what time the race would even be at. 8 a.m., sure. Um, but yeah, Formula One still got a decent amount of ways to go, as we'll take it now. Now we'll give you the look at the driver standings. Max Verstappen still is on top, but it's very, very close, and that's exactly what you're hoping for. Here is your driver standings. It's Max, then Norris, then Leclerc, Piastri. It's really close in the midfield, honestly. Max and Lando are the top two. Then Leclerc, Piastri, Sainz, Hamilton, Perez, Russell, Alonso, and Stroll finish your top 10. Nico Hulkenberg, 11th, which just makes my predictions so wrong for him from the season. Also, shout out to these three buffoons for having 0 points and Kick Sauber 0 points. What are we doing, guys? How is not? Oh, I think they did sack everyone. I was just thinking about that because they're getting a new team principal, I think, for next season. But regardless, the team, the constructors, whatever the hell, Red Bull lead, McLaren second. That's probably going to get smaller again, but who the hell knows? A second and third would actually help them a little bit, but not a lot. It improved the gap by like 2 points. McLaren just needs to win like 3 races and they have a chance. Ferrari are right there too, but I don't think they're going to win a race for the rest of the season. I think it's very possible they don't win a race for the rest of the way, other than like Vegas or something. Singapore is another one that they could win, but I'm not really confident. Mercedes is up there. They're probably going to finish in fourth. Aston Martin are here. Red Bull, RB, Honda, what are they racing? Not Racing Point. Jesus Christ, what is this? 2021. Racing Bulls, Visa Cash App nonsense. They're in sixth. Fair play to them. Haas are in seventh. Just to tell, I think I had Haas in like ninth or something. I didn't lower. I didn't. I had Alpine like. Let me see. Do I have this? Oh crap! I do. I had Williams seventh. They're not. They're ninth. I had Haas bottom. Wow, that's shocking. But I did have Kick Sauber, Stake, whatever, Ferrari in ninth, and they're in 10th, so it's not awful. And I do have Alpine in the correct spot. So I've actually done really well. I just really underestimated McLaren, which is kind of shocking. But listen, it do be like that. But Formula One is still kicking off alive and well. You can watch the race on Sunday, I think on one of the ESPN networks, honestly. I don't remember what it is. But something else is kicking off this week. We have a party in New York, and it is the U.S. Open men's tennis tournament. So let's talk about it. U.S. Open, one of my personal favorite events of the whole calendar. Here is the men's draw. If you don't know how the hell this works, use a single elimination. I'm going to predict 2 favorites and 2 underdogs to do something because that's just how this works. We're also going to comment on Yannick Sinner, defend Nick Kyrgios possibly, because once again, I like Nick Kyrgios as a player, of course, and we'll just predict whatever. Here is the draw. Yannick Sinner is top. Mackenzie McDonald's going to get his butt kicked. Though I do think he'll have great support from the American crowd, but he's going to get annihilated by Yannick Sinner. Here's another rest of the draw. Jari 26th. Wow, that's low for Jari, but that's unlucky. Also shout out to this match. Bellucci Wawrinka is actually pretty decent. I'll probably be on like an outer court something or something on that like that. Next part of the draw is led by Tommy Paul. Sonego is going to cause him a lot of problems, but I think Tommy Paul should come up on top, but won't be surprised if that match goes 4 or 5 sets. We have Felix up over here. He also, did he play in the Olympics? I honestly don't remember if he played in the Olympics or not, but he's here. Going down the list more, Nick Kyrgios' best friend Kokkinakis is facing Tsitsipas in the Battle of Impossible Names. We also have a dude named School Kate in this draw because that's just how this works against Daniel. That does not sound like a Japanese name, but who is this? I actually don't know who this is. Taro Daniel, fair enough. You do you, son. I'll make the bracket view here. Continuing down the draw, we have Agur Aliasime, who's going to be facing Mensik. Another good opening match. This one's going to be fun. That would probably be on an outer court as well. I would not be surprised if that one goes 5 sets. Kabolian Duckworth's pretty decent. We have a lot of other decent players, and Daniil Medvedev's here. I love Medvedev's route to the fourth round. I think he's a good shot at getting there. Doesn't play like a top player at all. Kabuli would destroy. Hardcore's not Medvedev's best friend, but I think Medvedev should be okay. Actually, no. Isn't Medvedev's best court hard and not Grat? I don't freaking know anymore. Next draw, Alcaraz. Welcome to the fourth round. Now, I'm just saying this now. He is like the easiest draw ever. Denis Shapovalov's too kind of old. Gaston, Diaz Acosta, don't really know who they are. Zhang Draper should be okay, a decent match too. But Alcaraz should beat everyone here. He'll be going to the fourth round. Pickleball King is going to the fourth round. There should be no doubt about that. Next draw, Seb Korda is here. Andy Manarino, who fair play for him even getting to this. He's over here. Fonini, another player who could cause problems. David Goffin, Tabilo. Don't be surprised if David Goffin wins this opening match against Tabilo. I could honestly see David Goffin going to the fourth round out of this draw because Seb Korda, I don't know how confident I should be in Seb Korda at this point, but at this rate, who the hell knows? Next draw, we have my boy Alex de Minaur coming back from a illness or injury or whatever it was from the Olympics. He's in the draw with Evans and Kachanov. I have Evans beating Kachanov, so de Minaur welcome to the fourth round. There's not really a person who can probably beat him. Next draw is the draw with Hubie Hurkacz. Another easy draw for a top seed. Skatov from Kazakhstan. Could cause problems. I don't think so. Arnaldi, another player who could cause problems. But Hubie Hurkacz is just too good. I have Hurkacz advancing to the fourth round. This is where it could get interesting. Diego Schwartzman and Gail Monfils, the battle of the old guys, should be fun. I love Bublik. I think him against Casper Ruud would be a really fun third round matchup. I like Bublik getting out of this to go to the fourth round. That would be really interesting if Bublik, who's really good, really shifty, he can do a lot of good things. I think he could cause problems for one of my favorite players on tour in Casper Ruud, which would kind of suck because I want Casper Ruud to win something. But Bublik, I think, why is he ranked 27th? Who would he lose? Whatever. Taylor Fritz, why is he playing Berrettini again? Like, why? They're going to face each other in the second round. Didn't they just play each other? I don't know at this point. Hugo Humbert trying to avenge his terrible performance in the Olympics. Kind of has a decent shot to get there, though him against Barrett. Whoever wins this matchup between Berrettini and Taylor Fritz is going to the fourth round. I have no doubt about that in my mind. I want it to be Taylor Fritz. I'm going to pick Taylor Fritz, but nah, that matchup can get very ugly. Not because of them hating each other, but just because it could go so back and forth you won't know what's going on. This is intriguing. Riley Opelka, a name I haven't heard in about 5 months, against Lorenzo Musetti. That should be interesting, though Opelka doesn't really move a lot. I think Musetti should win that, but Opelka's serve might save him. Speaking of how something might save him, Holger Rune's here. Hello, sir. I like Musetti getting out of this anyway. I think he's too good to probably be against any of them. Holger Rune, I think, should be ranked lower. But honestly, who knows at this point? I don't follow the game enough to really claim that. Lorenzo Musetti, though, I do have advancing to the fourth round. And he would be going up against probably Zverev. We have Cerundolo against Offner here. That should be pretty okay. Zverev plays like no other players to get to the next round. Andrei Rublev, hello, sir. He is in the next part of the draw. Chris Eubanks is here, and he's hopefully not going to disappoint everyone again after his shock appearance in the quarterfinals of Wimbledon last year. Lehecka? I've never said that name right. Is it Lecheka or Lehecka? Because I just don't know. I don't know how to say the Czech names. The names from Czechia are very hard. Just like the Hungarian dude he's facing. Folshkovich? I think I said that right, but honestly, I have no idea at this point. They face off each other in the first round. I have Rublev going through the Lehecka can cause a lot of problems. Speaking of players who can cause problems, Grigor Dimitrov, hello. I have Greek Sport beating Baez. So I have Greek Sport going here against Dimitrov, and I have Dimitrov going through. This is where it's going to get really sad. It's the battle of the lefties. Ben Shelton. We'll talk about Ben Shelton in a minute later, hopefully later in the video. Against Dominic Thiem. I believe this is the retirement tour for Thiem. The lefty from Austria, great player. I believe he's retiring after this tournament or very soon. They're in the draw with Tiafoe. This is Ben Shelton's to lose. If he limits the mistakes that he has with the forehand, I don't know. Is it a forehand error? I don't even remember. I haven't watched a Ben Shelton match in a couple of weeks. But Ben Shelton, I think, should get through this just on how much better he is than like half the people. Batista good, it's actually not bad. I think he could cause problems to Ben Shelton. That's who this is, I believe. But I think Ben Shelton should get to the fourth round, where he would be going up against probably Novak, a rematch of the U.S. Open semifinals from last year, which would be really funny. Because for some reason Novak plays like no good players till the fourth round. So, who in the hell do I have winning this? My first pick is as we go through this. I'm just trying to remember, where is Hurkacz? And he would go into this part of the draw. Ooh. Can I pick Hurkacz over Alcaraz? I don't know if I can, you know. That's so tough. Dude, that's like near impossible. Okay. My first winner of this tournament is Daniil Medvedev. Now, why the hell am I picking Medvedev? Okay, for some reason I like picking controversial players. Not a lot of people like this man, and because of his antics or whatever. But he is playing against a player that people argue should be suspended. Yannick Sinner, who's been like under a lot of fire, and a lot of players respond to him saying he's an idiot and how the hell is he not suspended? Which fair. I think he's gonna get a lot of hate in the United States. No one's gonna be really behind him. I have a feeling he could get upset by like Jari or something. But honestly, I think Tommy Paul is gonna be the one to dethrone Yannick. So I'm gonna go with Medvedev because he should beat Tommy Paul, and he also should beat Stefanos Tsitsipas. So I'm gonna go with the big man. Daniil Medvedev another player is gonna get like no love, so I don't know why I'm picking him, but now should I change it? No, we'll keep it. That'll be my top half pick. My bottom half pick, was an easy draw. Am I about to pick two Russian players or like or like no flag players? I don't think one of them's Russian. I'll give you some sleeper picks, and one of them is an American, and it's Ben Shelton to win this. Ben Shelton is going to have the entire nation behind him, and I think this is like the revenge tour from last year. The big hitting lefty, I think this is his time. The man from Florida, I have him as one of my sleeper picks. My other one, let me find him. I'll give you my other favorite pick actually next. I'm going to go with my boy, De-Minaur. Hopefully he lasts past 4 days this time due to illness or whatever. So I'm picking two lefties, which that sounds like a ton of fun. But my bottom pick, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with Hubie Hurkacz. No, I'm not going to go with De-Minaur. I'm going to go with Hubie Hurkacz instead of De-Minaur. I know a lot of people hate that when I go with repeating players, but Hubie Hurkacz just seems too easy. My other pick, top half underdog. Who the hell would I pick for this? You know what? I'm going to pick him anyway. I know I'm picking all seeded players, but I have to do it. I'm going to go with a guy who would face Medvedev, but I think could beat him. And that is Tommy Paul. I'm going to go with my picks of Medvedev, Hurkacz, Shelton, and Paul. I know they're all ranked inside the top 15, but I had to pick Americans, and I had to pick ones who actually have a chance to win it. So I'm with two Americans, two favorites. That's my pick for the men's draw. Now it is time for the women's draw, which I don't know. There it is. Welcome to the women's draw, which Iga Swiatek is still ranked first. Fair enough. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't watch as much women's tennis as I should, so I don't know as many of the players, so my picks might be a little bit boring, like Ons Jabeur getting picked like 65 times. You probably question why that happens. Let's begin. Iga Swiatek against players I really don't know who they are. I do have her going to the 4th round. Andreeva, I believe that's who this is. Zhang, Wang, and Samsonova, who I also... Is this Samsonova? Yeah, I nailed it. Nailed it, chat. Let's freaking go, chat. I do know names. We're actually going to go with the other view, so I actually know who people are. Let's keep it going. Andreeva, I knew that's who that was. Next draw, we have Danielle Collins is here. She's in the draw with Schneider. Fair enough. Not a lot of players I know. I know Danielle Collins. Shmedlova. There's a player you should watch out. Shmedlova. She's pretty good, but I'm going to go with probably Collins out of this draw. Next draw, you see the returning Kate Boultier. Or Bolte, I don't know how the hell you say it. Sophia Kenin against Emma Raducanu. What a random first-round matchup. 2 great first-round matchups in this draw. Sophie Rogers is actually pretty good. Jess Pegula loves selling. She's like the Agur Aliasime of this thing, of the women's circuit. I know I love throwing shade at Agur Aliasime because he doesn't win anything, but he was good in the Olympics. Jess Pegula does not do really a lot, so I'm going to go with... I'm not going to pick Sophie Rogers. That's a tough one. I'm going to pick... This is where an unseeded player is going to come out. I'm going to back Sophia Kenin probably out of this. Whoever wins this is probably going to be Pegula or Sophie Rogers. I don't know. Very tough pick. Speaking of tough picks, Rybakina is here. Hello. Caroline Garcia against Wozniacki. What a weird match that would be if they get to that point. Rybakina is going to walk the group here, though. Here's another pick I love doing. That's Caroline Garcia and Rybakina. Next draw, we have Haddad Maia returning, the player from Brazil, playing against... What flag is that? Is that Armenia? Yeah, I got it. Wow. Ball knowledge, chat. Let's go, baby. We got the ball knowledge. I know the Armenian flag. I actually thought I totally screwed that up, but we didn't. They're in the group with... is this Lauren Davis? Hell yeah. Nah, I do know names. I'm actually nailing this, you know. Lauren Davis is here. She's going to get destroyed. Where is that match? Against Kalinskaya. Kalinskaya is a good pick for this, by the way. Ostapenko against Osaka. She just played with Nick Kyrgios in like a charity thing on the return of Nick Kyrgios. Laura Fernandez, that's a weird one. Ostapenko, I think, would lose to Osaka, so I'm going to go with probably Laura Fernandez to get out of this, honestly. Putin Seva is here. Wang, Sheriff, Pliskova. Here's another name I haven't heard in a minute. There's another good first-round matchup. Paulini and Andreescu. Bianca Andreescu, former good player. Still all solid. Here's another good player, Krejcikova, against Basel Ribera. That should be a decent match. Townsend and Trevisan. I know that's match is going to be pretty good. Paolo Badosa is also here. Hello. Here's another name I haven't said in a minute. Sloane Stevens, along with Azarenka in this part of the draw. They get to go up against Maria Sakkari. Ooh, this should be upset central. Also, Wang versus Wang. How would you know who's winning? Oh, wait, it's kind of like... Let me ask this. If it's... I'm not trying to sound racist at all, or like... Not trying to sound like an idiot here. How would you know who's winning the match? I know with like the Williams sisters, it was like we know who's who. But for people who are not from the country, whatever. Wang versus Wang, that would be like the what did the South Koreans do in the World Cup? I don't remember. I don't know what's going on anymore. Continuing down the draw, Emma Navarro is here. Blinkova is here as well. That's a name I haven't heard in a while either. Kostyuk, Svitolina, hello. That's in the draw with Coco Gauff. It's wow. What a third-round match that would be. Svitolina against Coco Gauff. That would be a lot of fun. I would enjoy that match. Zhang, hello. She's in the draw with Yastremska. And continuing on the draw, Vekic, the Croatian who's good at the Olympics. She is here in the draw with Kazakina. Madison Keys, we'll talk about Madison Keys probably later. I think I might pick Madison Keys along with the Meritins. Alexandrova is in this draw with of course, with Sabalenka. Now, who am I picking to win the U.S. Open? Let me just try to remember something from the last year's draw. Who played? That's why I was remembering that name. Got it. Okay. So, let's talk about this. Who do I have winning the U.S. Open? Where's Madison Keys? I'm picking Madison Keys again. No, so here's my problem, Madison Keys is going to be one of the upset picks. I got to find her. Here we go. Okay, so Madison Keys, great draw for Madison Keys, by the way. Because if you look at, let's go back to the top. You got to go back to the top here. I know this is like bipolar if you're like not good at viewing this stuff. I just got to find this. Madison Keys, really good player. She would have to go up against, who would that be? Sabalenka? Another rematch of a semifinal from last year. And I think Madison Keys would get her revenge on Sabalenka. So I'm going with the revenge tour route, with Madison Keys then facing, who would that be? Probably Vekic? Yeah, I would back Madison Keys. So I'm going to go with Madison Keys from the bottom as a sleeper. Okay. Sleeper pick, Madison Keys. First favorite pick. We'll start with the bottom. We are gonna go with... You know what? Controversial pick here. That's the bottom. Right? So, top half of the draw. Favorite pick. Ooh. I'm gonna go with... I don't know, chat. Who the hell should I go with? How about... We're gonna go with... I wanted to... My original pick was Paulini, but I don't think that's gonna be good. I don't remember how good she is. Ostapenko's a good shout, but... Yeah, let's go with it. We'll go with Paulini. I know I literally brought up that she might lose first round, but I'm going to go with Paulini anyway. And then top half. Oh, is that my top half pick? I don't know what's going on anymore. That's one pick. And then my other pick is going to be... You know what? My favorite pick for the bottom is going to be Maddie Keys. I know that's going to sound terrible, and it sounds like I don't know anything, but Svitolina is my upset pick from one of the sides. Has to be. I think she's going to be good enough to go one-on-one with Coco Gauff, even though Gauff's going to have like the entire country behind her. So I'm going to go with Svitolina. And then my other pick, should we go with more Americans? No, I'm going to pick two upsets out of the bottom. And my other favorite pick will be Danielle Collins. Just so we get the theme of the American players. So, let's go over my picks again. So, from the men's side, we have Medvedev, Hurkacz, Shelton, and Tommy Paul. Women's draw, Paulini, Collins, Madison Keys, and Svitolina. That's where my picks are for the U.S. Open. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like what you see, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. U.S. Open kicks off on Monday. F1 is on Sunday, qualifying tomorrow, and Premier League that resumes tomorrow. For now, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. See you guys next time. Enjoy your weekend.